Hi everyone. I want to talk for a few minutes about understanding chronic pain. I want to back up to my teen years. Before this whole ordeal unfolded in my life, I would hear of people talking about having a migraine headache, or another example would be someone saying about joint or arthritic pain. I believed the person because there was no reason not to, but I really didn't understand what it's like to live with chronic pain. When I wake up in the morning, I've already been up in the nighttime for as much as 6 times. My sleep's very broken because of the pain that I'm experiencing. And even before I get out of bed for the day, it feels like I've ran a marathon. Now I've got a great deal of hope for my life, and I do push through, although I have to often lay down for a rest before I continue on in the afternoon. But there's now an understanding that I have because of living with pain. I feel how it makes you tired. I get the feeling of broken sleep that makes you feel like you're jet-lagged. As well, I feel the pain that makes it hard to focus and hard to concentrate. There's also the whole lifestyle that comes with the pain, where you aren't able to easily do certain tasks. I certainly have a lot more appreciation for someone that's dealing with pain now that I've experienced it, compared to before I started going through this whole process. It's not easy for someone to understand what it's like to live with chronic pain unless they've been through it. What I would encourage you to do if someone asks you what you're going through is trying to relate it to something that they might understand. Like, for example, if the person's into sports, you might make a scenario that's based around doing a lot of running, with how running tires you out. But then you could say that you feel tired out even before you've done any activity. You could also talk about being jet-lagged, because people in our day and age travel by airplane and they cross time zones, so people would have a concept of what it's like to be jet-lagged. You could talk about broken sleep. People will understand that because from time to time we all go through a season in life where we're not sleeping that well. The sensations of pain are also something that you could speak about. I feel whatever in this area of my body, where you're staying with I statements. It might not be as easy to understand this, but it is one way of explaining what's going on to someone who isn't in chronic pain and doesn't know the lifestyle that you are living. What you could also talk about is how the pain affects you. So what I mean by this is, does it make it hard for you to concentrate? Or could it be a distraction? You might be able to relate it to loud music playing on in the background while you're trying to study for an exam and really can't focus. What you're going through and pain in general is very, very, very personal. It depends what's going on with your body. I would suggest to you that if you're experiencing chronic pain, you think about some of the things I've talked about and how you would explain it to someone when they talk to you and are asking about what you go through. There's been a lot of people also ask me, how do you manage your lifestyle? I'm open about talking about these things, the mobility aids I rely on, not just the wheelchair, but shoe horns, sock horns, reacher grabbers, the shower chair, the toilevator that raises the toilet up, and all the equipment that's spread throughout my home. A lot of the time, the conversation with people goes in one of two directions. Some people are asking, especially friends, to understand and then trying to figure out how they can fit into your life. And I would suggest this is very typical of a healthy relationship, over several days explaining what it's like to live with, and struggles you have on a day-to-day basis. The other way this type of conversation typically goes with when I'm talking to someone is that they're really wanting me to listen to them and share what they're going through because of my physical disability being so visible. So I'm okay with this. I do have to have the energy to listen. When someone talks to you, it's not about solving their problems. It's so that they're not going through the situation by themselves, and the security that comes with knowing someone else knows what you're dealing with, and it gives them the confidence to face the situation that they're in and trying to manage or work through. I've had people open up to me about a wide array of problems and health care issues that they're facing. I've got to where I can gauge on a person-by-person basis if they're wanting me to ask probing questions to help them talk about what they're going through, and if that's going to help them. Some people are only going to say 4 or 5 sentences, and then they've said their piece and they're ready to move on to the next topic of conversation. It's a skill that's going to take a while to develop, but it is a gift that you've been given to be able to understand what someone's going through and being able to be a support to them in ways that's just not possible for someone who only has head knowledge of what it's like to struggle with the ability to walk or struggle with pain. And I really do mean that it's a gift. I'm not trying to undermine the challenges that this creates for the lifestyle. It's one of the redeeming qualities that you can draw upon for your situation and help it be less intense and less of a disappointment for you. Certainly, if your emotions are drained, there's a role of counseling and going to get help for yourself. As the lifestyle becomes more familiar with you, listening to someone and supporting people who open up to you is a way of redeeming what you're going through. Thank you for this time that you've spent with me today. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.